The Mega Driving Club returns with another dive into the world of Formula 1 as we take a look at Domark's 1993 Mega Drive racer F1. F1 by Domark is a Mega Drive racing game based on the 1993 Formula 1 World Championship season. Like a lot of the F1 games we've featured on this channel recently, the licensing was arranged through the Formula 1 Constructors Association, and while a lot of the drivers and tracks are featured, there are some concessions. 12 of the 16 circuits from that season are featured, 7 out of the 14 constructors are available, and once again Ayrton Senna is not featured, likely because his personal licensing was locked to the Super Monaco GP franchise. This is still a sizable offering of vehicles and circuits for a game released in 1993, and most importantly we get a full career mode alongside a simplified arcade mode, and also a training option so that you can get to grips with the different circuits. Interestingly, the game is almost identical to an Amiga and Atari ST racing game that is creatively called Vroom. Development of both games was led by the Langkor studio, who appear to have just taken the existing Vroom engine for F1 and enhanced it with the officially licensed cars, drivers and circuits that were likely secured by the game's publisher Domark. So what makes F1 on the Mega Drive special? Well, it's a pretty standard F1 game of the period. It controls well with a nice approachable and arcadey handling model that is very simple to learn, but fans of simulation racers won't find anything too exciting here. Where the game really shines is in its presentation. F1 is one of the most visually stunning things you'll see on the Mega Drive, and it's not using any additional enhancement chips to do it. The graphics are being drawn with a smart mix of line scrolling effects and polygonal elements to make the game look like it's being drawn with true 3D. However, if you look closely, you'll notice that it's only really large trackside objects like bridges, grandstands and tunnels that are being rendered with rudimentary 3D. Despite this, the game is pulling off one of the most impressive draw distances I've ever experienced in a Mega Drive game, and simulating one of the most convincing sprite scaling techniques I've ever seen on the system. Other vehicles and trackside objects approach your car with such a smooth scaling effect that you might think the base Mega Drive can actually do arcade quality sprite scaling. It's honestly a miracle that the developers have managed to pull this off so well. Then there's the subtle tilt of the car as the body rolls into the corners, another impressive visual effect that I don't think I've seen in any other Mega Drive racing game by a different developer. By the way, ignore the screen tear on the left side of the screen when the screen tilts in this capture. That's just a quirk of the emulator and is not present on real hardware. The game has a wonderful sense of humour as well. If you drive particularly fast over small objects or the wheels of other cars, you can launch your car into the air for no other reason than it looks cool. But the developers have even simulated a three-dimensional space off the back of these jumps, and you can see the top of your opponent's cars as the camera angles down when your car is brought back to Earth. It's an unnecessary detail that once again makes the game feel like it's being rendered in true 3D. But it's clearly not, because you can't just turn the car around in the middle of the track, you're locked to horizontal movement only. Domark's F1 is a bizarrely impressive Mega Drive racing game that is pulling off some astounding visuals, and the game is thankfully a lot of dumb arcade fun as well. There are some slight simulation aspects like tyres that get worn down and require a pit stop, but that's the real extent of things, as ramming your car into other drivers and roadside objects doesn't really damage it, instead just costing you precious time. If you own a Mega Drive and F1 is not in your collection, then you definitely owe it to yourself to give this one a go, because it's buckets of fun and extremely impressive on a technical level as well.